Why are you not leaving Russia, Niki? What are you going to do?
They're gonna track me, they're gonna arrest me, expel me from my university, draft me, and send to the war. I want to come back to Russia when there's gonna be like free and democratic, when there's gonna be no Putin at least.
Hello from Georgia, not Russia this time. My name is Niki and I'm staying in Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia. It's my second week of staying here, and today I have a special guest, Zack from Russia. Zack the Russian.
Yeah, right. Hello guys, welcome to Niki's channel. Yeah, my name is Zack. I'm a 20 years old Russian, actually 5 months been since I left Russia because of the war. And I spent 5 months living here in Tbilisi, enjoying Georgia and Georgian people, cuisine. Today I'll tell you more about my experience, about my journey living in Russia, why I left, and yeah, that's about it.
Zack is one of few, or maybe even the only Russian English-speaking YouTuber who speaks openly and critically against our government, which is a crazy thing in my opinion.
That's true. I understand why many Russians who have a YouTube channels in English, they don't speak out, because basically it's really dangerous, especially if you're in Russia. And the ability to leave Russia is almost as a privilege. I'm only 20 years old Russian. I don't have any connections in Russia. Like I don't have, like for example, like a wife or like a mortgage to pay. I can just leave and to speak out. But many of the YouTubers, they cannot do that. That's my duty to speak out, and that's what I do. So check out my channel, by the way.
Check out all the buildings around us.
Yeah.
I think that's like very old and still stylish and beautiful here, in a very good state.
I think many of the buildings here, they're actually from the Russian Empire. So it's like super historical. You cannot find those buildings in such condition as here in Russia, because basically they can destroy it, or sometimes they decorate it in a way it looks not so old and not so historical. So it's really enjoyable here. Yeah. Я такой впервые автомат вижу.
Oh guys, I just saw Zack getting this coffee from a random coffee machine. That's something that I haven't done in Georgia before, although I saw these coffee machines like literally everywhere around the city.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. It costs only one latte, which is like 30 cents. I don't think that's like super traditional way of making coffee here. Who the hell cares? It's coffee in Georgia.
Well, you're getting more Georgian over time.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness, guys. A few days ago, I met Roman No Fuckers. He's really huge guy, and now I'm meeting Zack, who is also bigger than me. It's not something that I get used to have. Usually, I'm the tallest person among my friends. Let's get straight to the topic.
Yeah, I left Russia 24th of February. Like, the war starts. Everyone is shocked. Like, I was so shocked. I spent like literally the whole day, like literally reading the news about the war. And 24th of February in the evening, we went to the protest in Moscow. I almost got arrested. At one point, like 6 policemen were chasing me. That's a whole huge story, how I was escaping 6 policemen in Russia, like running from 6 policemen along the streets. Like I have a separate video on this topic, so check it out. So 24th of February, I almost got arrested, and then I was paranoid. They're gonna track me to my home, they're gonna arrest me, and they're gonna put me in, not in jail, they're gonna expel me from my university, and they're gonna send me to the war. Like they're gonna draft me and send to the war. So I was really paranoid it's gonna happen. So I decided to leave Russia the 3rd of March. So I left the 3rd of March to Baku, Azerbaijan. It was a really hard decision to leave, because basically I just came back from the US. I've been to the US as an exchange student, and I just came back to Russia. I visited my mom for like a month, and then I came back to Moscow, and my plan was just to be in Moscow and to film how Moscow is great, like to show Moscow in details, because there are many like general videos about Moscow in English, but nothing in top, like in details. So I was going to take this niche, so to say. And so then the war starts, and I basically like spent all of my money to settle up my life in Moscow, like rented an apartment with my friend, like paid down payment. And when the war started, I was like, wow, I'm like literally broke. I was literally broke, and I didn't know what should I do. And then I just realized, well, I have a YouTube channel. So yeah, I decided to make a fundraiser for myself on my YouTube channel, and I was really surprised that so many people were actually so supportive. Not only with money, but also with the words. I got like hundreds of DMs with support, not with hate that I'm Russian and my country started the war. Just support, any kind of support, and I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone who supported me at that time. And yeah, we fundraised some money, so I was able to leave. I was able to settle up my life outside of Russia. I went to Baku, spent a couple of weeks there, met many Russians who also left Russia because of the war. There were some rumors that they were checking phones on the passport control, like they were like KGB agent, like FSB, ex-KGB agent. They were like going through your phone and looking for the words like Putin or Navalny and something. I was really afraid of it, and I almost deleted everything from my phone except 4,000 pictures from the US. I was thinking, okay, on the border they're gonna think, okay, you've been to the US, you were a CIA agent or you were like a traitor or something. But I was just debating, should I delete it or not, and I decided not to delete this. And I'm so grateful for this, to be honest. So yeah, I came to Azerbaijan and then to Tbilisi. I settled up my life here, and it's been already 5 months living here in Tbilisi. And it was a great experience so far, and I'm really grateful to the country to being so hospitable to the Russians who fled Russia because of the oppression. So yeah, thank you. Thanks so much for Georgian people. Yeah.
Actually super interesting to me because it's only 1 week since I arrived to Tbilisi, Georgia, and the very first days I was seeing a lot of support to Ukrainians, like graffiti, save Ukraine or something like that, graffiti, fuck Russia, fuck Putin, a lot of flags just waving from people's balconies, from people's apartments, and from the first impression I felt kinda uneasy, but then I realized that Georgian people are actually quite hospitable, so I guess we kinda have similar experience of getting like used to be here
Yeah,
in quite a short time.
By the way, speaking about this like fuck Russia things, you know, it's funny that like Georgians people they make this graffiti fuck Russia, but then Russian people they go and they actually basically cross Russia and they write Putin. So they show that yeah we are Russians but we are against the war. Not all Russians are pro-war. Basically, there are so many Russians here. As far as I know, since the start of the war, 100,000 Russians came to Tbilisi, and well, I think half of them already left. Also, like 40,000 from Belarus, they came here, and I think only 25,000 Ukrainians came here. So yeah, not so much of Ukrainians. And it's interesting like how it feels to be here, to live in Tbilisi being Russian, because wherever you go, you kind of feel a little bit like ashamed that you're Russian. Yeah, that's true. And when I've been to Istanbul, for example, recently to visit my friends from YouTube, I felt like, oh, it doesn't feel so shameful anymore because I'm outside of Georgia. And I understand why I feel like this here in Georgia, because basically in 2008 there was a war between Russia and Georgia, and 20% of Georgian land is occupied by Russia, and so many of the Georgian people, they are not happy with Russians from the scratch. And here you go, here is a war, a crazy war, and Georgian people, they really relate to the war that happens right now in Ukraine. And they are really supportive. You see so many flags here in Tbilisi. I was so surprised. Like even Ferris wheel. There is a Ferris wheel in Tbilisi on a Tansminda Park, and it's like every day, every night is colored in Ukrainian flag. Yeah, it feels all the time like I go somewhere, like to the market, for example, near my apartment building, and we got a great conversation with like local babushkas, old ladies who sell vegetables, and we speak Russian, and then they ask me, where are you from? And I think they are expecting me to be from Ukraine, actually. They like, please be from Ukraine. I'm saying like, I'm from Russia. They're like, oh, Russia. Okay. And then conversation basically ends. It kind of makes me sad, but I understand totally why it happens. So yeah, and I'm still really grateful to the Georgian people for such hospitality. And I've never faced any like Russophobia outside, even here in Georgia, where there should be Russophobia. It's like logical because like some of the territories are occupied by Russia. When I came to Tbilisi, I didn't know the city well. I used to take taxi because it's cheap here, and you know it's a great opportunity to meet locals. So they were asking me like, "Oh, where are you from?" And of course, the second question was, "What do you think about the war between Russia and Ukraine?" And once you say, "I'm against the war," I'm against Putin, Georgian taxi driver is going to be, oh, you're my brother. If you need any help, just let me know. Or they offered me to go to barbecue with them or with their family. Any help. I think once you show that you are against the war, people are happy with you here in Tbilisi.
Oh, I find that interesting that perhaps you had this experience of talking to taxi drivers right after you arrived, but me, I personally took about 20 taxi rides already within the last week. Taxi is incredibly cheap here in Tbilisi compared to St. Petersburg, and none of the taxi drivers actually asked me anything about my opinion towards the war. Perhaps they just used to do that back in the beginning, maybe in March, maybe in April. Apparently right now they don't do this anymore. Literally 100% of taxi drivers who talk to me said that they lived in Moscow. No idea like what the heck is that, but apparently Russia is still a popular destination for Georgian people not to travel but to relocate and to work for some time.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like younger generation of Georgian people, they more speak English than Russian. My strategy, if I see a person and I need to speak, the person is older than 4 years old, I know like 100% this person gonna speak Russian. So I start my conversation with Russian. But if a person like is basically less than 4 years old, I'm just speaking in English first. And then they hear my Russian accent and they're like, okay, we can switch to Russian. Younger Georgians, they are more likely to speak English than Russian, and I think they are more likely to like relocate to Europe or like to the America or somewhere. So yeah, feels myself like I'm in a documentary.
Every single day here I see a lot of people who speak Russian, and apparently not all of them are from Russia. A lot of Ukrainians also visit Tbilisi, I guess, like refugees. You ever met here people from Ukraine? And if yes, like what kind of interaction you have with them?
When I came to Tbilisi, I went to food bank for Ukrainian refugees. I volunteered there for like 2 weeks, but then I realized there are so many people who wants to volunteer. There is no necessity for me to be there, so I decided to. I actually made a couple of the videos about their volunteering center. And I've met many Ukrainians over there, and we fundraised money for the center, maybe $4,000 or something like this. I've met many Ukrainians, and I was really surprised. They were so okay with us. They were all like, oh, you're Russian, that's okay. And we understand that you're against the war. As soon as you're against it, as soon as you're against Putin, you're totally fine. And also, what's need to be mentioned that all of the Ukrainian refugees that come to Georgia, they are from the occupied territories of Ukraine. They are from like Kharkov, from Mariupol, from Melitopol. Those cities that right now is occupied by Russia. And those people, they are natively, they speak more Russian than Ukrainian because they live by the border with Russia. So basically they are more, not pro-Russian, but they are maybe culturally not more Russian than Ukrainian. So they are originally okay with Russians. I didn't have any problems like, oh, you're Russian, your country have a war against my country, you're my enemy. Nothing like this happened. Once I remember there was a case, I was live streaming from a protest here in Tbilisi at the parliament. And the guy, a Ukrainian guy, I've seen him speaking Ukrainian, and I was live streaming and wearing a white flag, you know, the anti-war flag of Russia, and he was like, get away from me, or something like this, in a really rude manner. And I was thinking, maybe that's because I was just live streaming. I hope it was because of my camera, not because of I was Russian. But outside of it, nothing like any kind of Russophobia never happened to me.
We actually do have a lot of rumors inside Russia. People often talk something like, if you go abroad as a Russian, you'll face a lot of Russophobia or something like that, hate from international community. But in my experience, although Georgia is the first destination I visited since the war started, here I didn't receive any hate at all, and it's been more than a week of me staying here. Soon, in a few days, I'm going to another country and then another country, and I expect to have like no hate personally to me just because I'm Russian.
Yeah, I remember being to Istanbul and I visited the anti-war protest over there, and there were more Ukrainian than Russian protesting against the war. I mean, it's logical. There were some Russians, like speakers, who wanted to tell about like Russia should be free and democratic, and Ukrainian people were like, nah guys, that's a Ukrainian protest. We tell about peace. We don't care about Russia. What the hell cares with Russia? We just want peace. That was the only like issue to me. It felt a little bit like personally offensive a little bit. But I totally understand, like when your country is being bombed, you don't care about like Russia being democratic. You just want no war.
Recently I've seen a few videos from your channel, Zack, and you have a lot of videos criticizing our government, the actions like of Russia towards Ukraine.
Yeah.
How do you feel saying such kind of stuff on public, like on your YouTube channel?
Thank you for the question. I totally understand that some people are afraid to speak out because they are in Russia, but why I speak out? Because I'm outside of Russia. So I'm not afraid FSB gonna come over to my house and arrest me the next day for just saying that this is not a special military operation, this is a war. How can you tell how Russia is great right now while there is a war going on. How you can go around like Moscow and show like, oh, look at this building that was built by Stalin in such year. How it is beautiful, while there are so many people dying because of basically your country. So that's one of the reasons I speak out, because I just feel that's just my duty as a Russian, basically. That's my favorite soda in Georgia. It's called Natahtari. My favorite taste is Sapiravi. That's a little bit different. Sapiravi is basically great. I think this is the best soda ever. That's like better than Coca-Cola or Sprite like 100 times. So if you visit Georgia, make sure to try it.
It's just a random ice cream from Georgia and random water.
I think Georgian ice cream is really popular in Russia because it's so tasty.
Really?
Yeah.
Georgian ice cream, never seen in my life.
Yeah, really. I think it's really tasty.
Basically 2 cookies, some ice cream inside.
How's it?
We're just having a quick snack on the way to the mountain, the mother of Georgia. Always there. Oh mate, that is such a place. We literally can see like the entire Tbilisi from over here. It was quite simple hike for me. I don't know, Zach, how do you feel?
I feel a little bit sweaty, but this is how it goes in Georgia. You just climb up somewhere.
Like it here, just have a look, the view on the city.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, Zach, you know, talking about the last half a year, I've been asked a lot of questions like, for my future plans. Why are you not leaving Russia, Niki? What are you going to do, like, by the end of this year? What are you gonna do next year? What about your future plans? Like,
Yeah.
are you going to stay in Tbilisi, or...?
Well, Tbilisi is a great city, but I don't think I got much of an opportunity here. I left Russia, but I haven't finished my education. So one of the main goals right now is to get into university. I'm looking for scholarships like in the US or Canada or maybe Europe to the university to finish my bachelor degree. And I'm thinking about majoring in politics because I'm really into politics. And at one point, I want to come back to Russia when it's going to be like free and democratic, when there's going to be no Putin at least. And we need those people who are going to build democracy in Russia. So you need some knowledge to do this. Well, basically my main goal right now is just to get education somewhere in a really educated country, like in politics. So I think the US is going to be a really nice choice. We'll see. So right now that's one of the main goals.
Oh mate, that's quite interesting for me because I was studying in Russia and I didn't finish my university too. I haven't graduated yet, and my major was exactly political science.
Oh wow.
And back in 2013, I believe, or 2012, like almost 10 years ago, I've been joining the local election for like something like local parliament, and the things that I saw there totally disattracted me from going into politics. It basically told me, hey Niki, you should live here, you don't like this.
Like, political science in Russia is basically like studying politics in like Soviet Union. You know, you're basically learning that Lenin and Stalin are great. Actually, I was going to get into major in political science in Russia, but in my high school, like last year in my high school, I've just realized that it's not possible in Russia. There is no politics. Like, you know, it's just one party, one guy, and that's it, no politics. But still, my dream is kind of go into politics, to study law, because I was really into law in my high school. I was like competing in different kind of like Olympiads, how we call them in Russia. Like, so I really want to make it to the politics. Just maybe not being like a politician, but at least like helping some kind of developing democracy in Russia.
Well, do you believe that it's someday gonna happen?
Well, that's a really tough question, to be honest. I'm being an optimist in my life. I hope it's gonna happen. You know, you never know when it's gonna happen, but I think eventually it's gonna happen. I really hope so.
That was quite insightful conversation to me. Hope you also heard something interesting, guys. And thank you again, Zack. Guys, find Zack the Russian on YouTube. I'll have a link to your channel in the description to this video. Спасибо and пока.
Нахмандис. That's in Georgian goodbye. Goodbye, guys.